Welcome back for part 11 of the Dungeons & Dragons Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden book series. This video will continue by covering Chapter 6, Caves of Hunger. Now that the players have the Rime of the Frostmaiden, they can move to this step of the journey. The lost Gnothics city is below the glacier waiting for them, and now they have the power to open the way. Ideally, the players should be level 8 when starting this chapter. By the time they reach the end of the caves, they need to advance to level 9. At a particular spot on the glacier, there's a waterfall. This destination can be located by Feline or the Professor Orb. The previous passage to this dungeon was sealed off by the Frostmaiden long ago. Feline Harple or the Professor Orb would make a good guide for this part of the journey. If Feline or the Orb aren't with the party, a member of the Elk tribe will work. Feline will encourage the players to move to this area quickly before a member of the Arcane Brotherhood beats them. Before the party reaches the glacier, they'll see 10 tribal warriors walking towards them. They are friendly members of the Elk tribe and have come to tell the party about dreams they had which foretold danger to the party. They will escort the party to the glacier unless the party refuses. As the party reaches the glacier wall, 21 members of the Tiger tribe will attack. They serve Ariel, so they don't like the party meddling in her affairs. Hopefully the party allowed the Elk tribe to go with them. That'll make this an easier battle. Once the players reach the frozen waterfall, they must read aloud the Rime of the Frostmaiden poem. A copy of it is provided in the book. As soon as the poem is read, a crack will appear in the waterfall, making a passage inside now available. When the city fell long ago, Ariel buried it and claimed it as her own. Some of the passageways are natural caves, and some have been made by its inhabitants. The tunnel ceilings are 15 feet high, and caverns are 30. Tunnels and caverns are made of ice, and all of it is dark. Sound echoes throughout these passageways, so sounds will be amplified. Consider that on certain skill checks. The party may encounter several ice slides, which were formed by remores burrowing through this area. The caves have a very unusual property about them. The caves capture psychic trauma, so there is a random table to roll on for psychic hauntings. The hauntings could be things such as screams may be heard by only one party member. The party members may appear to wither and decay to one, even though no damage is done. A warm breath may be felt on the back of someone's neck, but nothing can be seen behind them. Use your imagination and expand this to have some fun. See how much paranoia and confusion can be caused among the party. It's all there to add a spooky feeling to the caves. One of the inhabitants of these caves, Tekalili, a Gnoll vampire, will be here. He has preyed on all he can down here and has produced many kobold vampire spawns in the process. The glacier was a prison for him, but now he's free to leave. When he is encountered, the Professor Orb will share information on vampire weaknesses since it is an expert on them. Tekalili prefers a hit-and-run type of attack strategy. He wants to slowly drain the party's resources if he can. They will often hear him cackling somewhere off in the caves, and remember the sound travels far. Use this occasionally to let the party know that the vampire is close and watching them. Build suspense and make them paranoid when you can. If he takes 20 points of damage or more, he'll turn into a mist and move to a safe location. His location can be determined randomly from a table, but he will always attack by the time the party reaches the room at the end of the caves. If not killed, he will find his way to 10 towns and dine there. Soon into the caverns, the party will find a Gnothics sky coach, which is no longer working. At one time, this device could fly through the sky. Any noise here will bring 4 flame skulls to investigate. A kobold vampire spawn is also nearby. The head of an ancient iron golem can also be found, and is still operational. Here it has lied for thousands of years, powered but not able to do anything without its body. Simple questions can be asked of it, and answers can only be yes, no, or I don't know. The party will also find round, smooth, very slippery tunnels which were made through the ice by remores. If someone slides down one of these 5 tunnels, they'll probably end up in a warm pool of water with the remorhaz in it. Further in, the party may encounter a dozen shadows and a wraith. The undead are abundant in these caves and very hungry. The Gnoll vampire likes to wait for encounters like this to attack. He wants the party to be weakened by the shadows and then hopefully attack with surprise. 5 kobold vampire spawn have a nearby den, and they prefer to use their spider climb ability to wait at the den entrance high up in the air and fall down on those who enter. A stench of death is always smelled when nearing the vampires or their lairs. Use that smell to build suspense, make the players paranoid. Snow golems will be encountered down here, but their origin isn't given. Eventually the players will find the central cavern containing the remorhaz pools. If the Gnoll vampire is still alive, he will be in mist form, hiding here in the steam of the pools. This is a favorite trick of his, since he will be almost impossible to see at this time. If the remorhaz mother and 2 young ones attack, this is when Tekalili the vampire will attack. As you can see, he will try to engage the players more than once throughout this area. Terrorizing the party whenever possible is his game. The remorhaz cave even has a slide leaving this central area and leading down to the Underdark. One area of the caves contains smashed buildings from the fallen city, and Drow have established an outpost here. There are only a few Drow fighters and a Drow mage present. Nearby is a magic spear that once belonged to a mighty frost giant. If touched by a fighting class of character, over hours it will slowly give them a charm which will transform them into a frost giant, but it's not permanent. The charm can be removed with a greater restoration or similar spell. I don't see anything which says the spear will only work once, so this could be a great find. A person's size, strength, and everything else increases with the change. The holder of the spear can end up 21 feet tall, weighing in at 7,700 pounds, and have a 23 strength. How much fun could that be for someone in the group? The players will occasionally find some unknown creature trapped behind a transparent wall of ice. One is described as a thing beyond mortal comprehension that tries to dominate their minds when they approach. Another is a mummy trying to escape an icy prison. Another surprise is a thriving grove of trees. They were once enchanted by the Gnothics long ago and still thrive to this day. A dryad lives among them, and the fruit growing on the trees can give anyone who eats them a supernatural beneficial charm. Someone could learn a useful cantrip, an invisibility spell, and more. Near the orchard are 4 Gnothics. The Gnothics are hesitant to attack a strong party, and if offered food and drink, they may give up some secrets they know. The information they have could be very beneficial, not to say interesting. They can reveal that a powerful wizard who exists only as a skull is in the city. Do you think the players can figure out what that means? They will tell of giant floating hands wandering the city. They know of the Mythalar device and know that it won't function as long as an artifact known as a spindle remains in the city. They have heard that a ritual must be performed to enter the central spire, but don't know what the ritual is. You will like this last one. Somewhere in Ythryn is a scroll which will summon the Tarrasque. Wow, as you can see, talking to the Gnothics can be interesting. At last the passage leading to Ythryn is found. Unknown to the players is that Avarice, a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, has followed them into the glacier and isn't far behind. Basically, the caverns are just a random scattering of undead, a few drow, and a few other monsters. Not too much here. This concludes Chapter 6, The Caves of Hunger. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will continue with Chapter 7, The Doom of Ythryn. Until then, good luck and good gaming.